Years ago, I fell in love with the place. When this job opened up, I applied and fortunately I was selected. I've been very blessed. Thank you very much for welcoming me. I've had a lot of people come by the house, see me in the office, send me nice notes. Appreciate that. See you in the grocery store. So if you haven't met me, please make sure you make the time to do so. I'll see you there. This morning when I was working out, I'm sitting there going, wow, I get to come meet the community. I said, what do I say and what do I talk about? It's simple. We get to talk about the most important things that we have in our lives, and that's kids. The children we have today is what we need to work with. And right now, we will not let this virus destroy the future of our children. That's the bottom line. So if you want to get it all settled, that's it. All the notes right there are covered. So we're going to go all again. That's the bottom line. Together we can make this work. It is the most traumatic time I've ever had in education. All of you are in the same boat. We got that note saying we closed down. First of all, I felt like I was in a science fiction movie. I'm sitting there thinking, this can't be true. This is America. Well, unfortunately, it's true. And we have a new reality. We're practicing social distancing. That was a whole new thing when I was a principal. Social distancing. I want to see space between those bodies, the dances. So now we have a whole new thing. We have to come back and try to practice and take care of each other. I wear the mask not for me, I wear it for you. Is it a requirement? Yes, it is. There's some things I can't get around. There are some things, however, school board, administrative team, teachers, we're all working to make sure that we take care of this. Because right now we believe in our community survey, and thank you all of you who filled out that survey. The community survey was very strongly adamant. We want our kids to school in person. That is the best. So we are fighting for that daily. Jack Johnson, our superintendent here at the ESD, saying that he's been in meetings. How many meetings were this week? Already, 5 or 6. So we're trying to fight to help people understand that we are not Portland. We are not an urban center. And we appreciate Jill and Judy with our local health authority. They've been to some of our meetings. They've been great. They see it. Last night, Katie and I were in a meeting with Jack. We've actually heard it. We heard that they're going to try and make some concessions. I don't know what they look like yet. But we're not going to give up until they tell us no. And then if they tell us no, we're going to go back and show them common sense. It doesn't make sense that 2 people can close down the entire Lake County schools, all 5 districts. But we also have to have common sense ourselves. We have to practice social distancing. We have to. No matter what you believe, it's important to do it for our kids. We want our kids to be in school. We want a senior, and I got 3 letters. And I get emotional about this. When I read about a senior who did not get to go to their prom, did not get to play in their finals game, who had to go on to college without saying goodbye to their friends. But then I watched and said, what positive part can I take out of it? I can tell you, I've watched it twice, the graduation, to see a parade through here, to see the community rally, no matter what, we're here. And that's what Lakeview is all about. I have a lot of notes here. We'll make sure we put these on the website so that make sure we don't miss some things. But I want to point out, here's the kind of thing that makes me so excited. This should make you excited. We have Sheriff Taylor, who sits here, his whole department writes a grant. We're going to have a resource officer for 3 years in our school for free. Won't cost the district a dime. That's called cooperation. We have groups like that. We have community members. I go to Rotary, I go to other groups, and I see people fired up. What can we do for schools? Give us a list and we'll help out. It is a community, and we need you right now to rally. And this is a war. We have to win this battle. The stakes are too high. This Saturday at 8 o'clock, we have a community garage sale. We have cleared out a lot of stuff, surplus a lot of stuff from the district. So at Daily Middle School from 8 o'clock to 12, we have a community garage sale. Anything you can come by, our junk is going to be your treasures. So come get it. We'll give you a good deal. All the proceeds go to our kids and our extracurricular programs. That's what it's all about. So please take the time to come by and look at it. Our kids, some of our students will be masked up and they'll be serving you to help sell some of the materials we have. So our survey came back very strong, saying you want it in person. But also talked about the importance of making sure everything's safe and disinfecting. So we have cohorts, we have a plan. So I'm going to go through the general guidelines of the plan, help you understand it. First of all, state wants us to have pretty much online school. We're trying to explain that we can do it differently and we can do it safely. It's very important we do it safely. If we get to a certain place, the numbers go up, and we can't do it safely, I'll close the school down right away. Make sure we take care of our students and our staff. But one thing we've done, our administrative team has met, talked to our community, talked to our teachers last week. By the way, can everyone hear me? Yeah, I want to make sure everyone can hear me. I apologize. The microphones are great, but I don't like it. So, we talked to our staff and we're looking at an option. We're starting elementary school 7:30 to 1:30. Now, you are used to that on Wednesday early release. The reason why we're doing that is because that way we can run 2 different buses to keep our cohorts and schools as safe as possible. And the buses, they say, oh, it's no problem, we can sit close. We don't want them close. We want as much room as we can. And also, we can make sure that we can facilitate all of our electives. Make sure that we have elementary music and PE and all those things still offered. That's what makes school so special. Parents who have to work, we're going to have a daycare offered for them after school, so that way it goes from like 1:30 to 5 or 4:30, so we can make sure that you can take care of yourselves at work. We know if we get people back to work, our economy will recover. This is America, we're in this together. This is Lakeview, we're in this together. Why are we doing it? This is the right thing to do. We have no other alternative. Second thing, high school start at 9:30 to 4. Pretty important for us. There will be some flexibility in the schedule. The reason why there's flexibility in the schedule is we want to make sure we accommodate those electives that makes this place that special. So if you have a horticulture, nutrition services, all those things we have, all those programs will be in place, and you'll see how the administration has been very creative to make sure that you might have an elective for 3 hours, and the next day you do something else. That way we can accommodate your numbers. I am so proud of the administrative team and the teachers who've been very creative. But I'm going to use something we all know. We're building this plane as we fly it. Because every time we fly it over to land, they change the rules. So if you say, hey, this is what you told us last week, well, I'll tell you what, this is why we haven't had these meetings earlier. If I would have had this meeting a month ago, we would have got a whole different meeting. And it would have been a different meeting last Tuesday. Because we got information on Monday, and they changed it Tuesday. So right now, we're taking go back to the coach, and we are fighting fearlessly for each and every one of our kids to have this opportunity. So let's talk about some other things. When they come into the school, we're going to make sure we have a flow. We have to follow a flow, one-way pattern. We have to make sure our lunches, we can't put too many people together. So if I was to look in this room right now, I got my mask off because I'm here, but we would have the problem, we're going to have a lot more social distancing for our kids. We're going to have to set the role model. How do you teach? You teach by example. So you'll see you with the mask on all the time. You'll also see that we're going to have students, the honker group, high school students going down and setting the right example for the elementary students. Important. Teach how we can do this, how we can make this happen. Like I said, in this together, and if we work together, we will make this happen. Once this virus is done, we're going to look back on this and say, we survived and we made it really successful. Education has not really developed much in the last 150 years. You can go back in time and say, yep, classes, same things. Our society was changing. This virus has escalated this change 10 to 15 years. So let's look at the positive part of it. You can sit there and take an advanced welding class here. You can also do some other college credits online. So when you leave here, you can have an associate's degree. There's options that can be developed. Some of you might not feel comfortable coming to school. That's okay. We're not judging them. That's why we're doing things online as well. We have an online academy, K-12. I hear about all these academies, Connection Academy, Baker Academy, all that. Wait till you see what we're offering. Not only is it going to have all that curriculum for K-12, it will have auxiliary supports for parents. I don't know about you, it's pretty hard to sit at the kitchen table and teach math, unless you're a math teacher. And you also learn to appreciate what teachers do. I'm sitting there going, wow, 7 hours of teaching this would be tough. Also, what happens is we're going to make sure every one of our kids has a Chromebook. We bought that already. We're working on hotspots throughout the community. We're trying to make sure everyone has connectivity. But that K-12 is completely online. And Mr. Wells is going to be our principal for that. And he has a team, and you wouldn't believe what they're looking at. What this could be, there's going to be some creative ideas. Our motto is to get to yes. If your student needs this to help their education, our job is to get there. That might be, listen, I'm taking piano lessons. That would be a lesson, that could be a course that the two principals work out where it's online and then it's also in person. And we pay for part of that lesson. Why not? We're here to help your son or daughter be successful. So the online academy is completely online. That helps you. It also will be one of those things, I don't understand this lesson. So people out there homeschooling or other options, we will give that to you. You pay taxes. We're a public school. We're here to help you. So I want to talk about this is a time of cooperation. It's a time of thinking way out of the box. It's a time to get to yes. It's a time to celebrate what we can deliver. But it's going to take all of you to be part of it. If you have that mentality, well, my job is to run my kid out of school and that's it, then really maybe we have some other options for you. Because we can't have that right now. We need you involved. You are part of our partnership. It's hard. It's hard to get up and say, oh, I got to put this on. It's hard not to go exercise with friends. All those things that we have been taken for granted. It's hard for our kids, can you imagine? Coming to school and social distancing. Difficult. So, that's a lot of stuff I had here. I've gone through a great deal of stuff. We need to look back, see what we had, and now see where we need to go. We're not going to drive past our headlights. We're going to make it slow enough to make sure we're there. But we also have to think past tomorrow. We have to think for the next 2 or 3 months. What will this look like? I've heard some creative ideas already. I've heard about outdoor school yesterday. How can we do a virtual outdoor school? How can we do a puzzle room? How can we do all these things that I never thought of? I also didn't think that I had a computer tacked to my hip all the time either. There's a great YouTube about it asking people how to dial a rotary phone. How many in this room know how to dial a rotary phone? Okay, you just showed your age. What I'm trying to point out is there were some technology things that happened when I was growing up I thought would never happen. And it does. So we're going to have to embrace this educational technology. Our teachers are going to have some extra training. I also want to praise the teachers here. They did a great job in the administrative staff. But we also know it was not what we needed it to be. The rigor wasn't there. But also their hands were tied. Oh, by the way, I want you to come to school, but we can't grade it. Oh, by the way, I want you to come to school, and the grades don't matter. Oh, by the way, no matter what happens, you stop here, that's your grade. That doesn't work. That's not America. America's about working hard and being successful. America's about teamwork. Lakeview's about that as well. So that's a lot said in a short period of time, and I apologize, I speak very rapidly. So I have a couple things on the list here. I'll let Andy look and see what I'm missing. But I covered a great deal. We have work study classes. We have some new electives for some of our students. We don't want busy work. We have to raise the rigor. It can't be what it was, and it won't be. So we're going to have some training. More details will be coming forth to you. So I'm going to open it up for questions. And if you don't want to say it publicly, you can write it here, and we'll get to it later. First of all, thank you very much for coming this morning. So I'm here for all day. Yes, sir?
Can you explain the metrics?
Metrics. Oh, yes. I'm trying to rock over here. So the metrics is what the state has set out that how many not open schools or when they put a number in. So I talked to our health authority. I said, does this make sense? Well, I can see it, but it doesn't make sense for us. Just for obvious. So the metric says, right now, if you were to take the 4 largest counties in the state, one of them, and we take it, we can go all the way from Astoria, all the way to Portland, all the way past Eugene, So that's 44% of the Oregon landmass. If 5 people get test positive, they close the whole system. We're trying to explain that to the board. It's a little different. Do we look at zip codes? That's one of the things we looked at. Zip codes don't work. We have many small school districts with 4 to 5 zip codes. We also get some students from Northern California here. We also, it does not make sense that Paisley can be closed or Adele, 45 miles away, and they're not even here. So the matrix right now, we're trying to get it to be very awesome for each county and to look at our terrain. We have less than 8,500 people in our county. It doesn't make sense. Did I summarize that well? Yes. Great question. They look at total numbers or positive tests. That was an interesting question yesterday. Random testing, positive tests. They have switched it 3 or 4 times.
Michael, can you repeat the question because they can't hear it on the mic?
Question is, are they looking at positive tests? Are they repeat tests when they take them off? And the matrix has been fluctuating back and forth. But the constant thing is, they're saying this many per 100,000. If you take this many per 100,000, well, 0.7 of a person closes us down. And that's not the way to do it. Let's teach them some new math. Is that all right? I'll put you on the spot. What's really exciting is, we're trying to also explain to them, and Candy was in the meeting and Jack was as well. Judy was here last week. We try to explain to them that we can pick up the phone and talk to our health authority right now. It's not like we have to go through 14 different people. I can get in my vehicle and go right to every place there in a minute and a half if I don't speak. So what I'm trying to point out then is that we have a relationship. That's what the big communities do not have. And we're not numbers, we're people. And we're not really even rural, we're frontier. That's the documentation we're trying to get. We're frontier. It's really spread out. Great question. A good example is you got Ontario there, Jordan Valley. Jordan Valley, 75 miles away. They'll never open what they call the matrix. Never. Question. Yes, sir.
Mr. Carter, you mentioned the daily schedule, but did you mention the weekly schedule?
Did I miss the daily? I'm sorry. What did I do?
You gave us the daily schedule. What about the weekly schedule?
Oh, the weekly schedule. Yeah. Weekly schedule is 5 days a week. It's not 3 or 4. 5 days a week. That's what our community said in the survey. It also helps you work. Go to your boss, I'm sorry, I can't work on Friday now because school's closed. No, it's a 5-day week. 5-day week schedule. Thank you for letting me guess that. I missed that. Yes, ma'am.
So I appreciate that you're trying to work with the state to change the metrics.
Yes, ma'am.
But if the metrics don't change, what
Great.
does that mean for us right now with what the data is showing for either being online or in the classroom?
If we follow the matrix, her question was, what if the matrix is not changed? We're not in the powers that be, the Oregon Health Authority to change the numbers of the government. Great question. First of all, if that does happen, then we have to go online completely. We'll have the academy as a standalone, but also online with our teachers teaching in the classroom here, online plus tutorials afterwards. Small group tutorials, less than 5 to 6 people. So we'll make sure we have more supports that we didn't have last time. Because we get, the last time it was thrown upon the district and they had to do it in a week. We'll also provide food, so food will continue to go. Food service will continue to go. That was one of the things in the survey we did not do well on. A lot of reasons for that. We troubleshot that, and we'll make sure that that's going to take care of feed our kids. So we'll be online. Then the second part of that is we're not going to accept no. We're going to keep pushing. But that's a great question. So what happens to answer that question again? Summarize. Real simple. If they make us go online, we're ready. There will be 2 parts to our online program. There will be the academy already in place. There will also be online learning from our teachers here. So there's 2 different programs.
What do you mean by online learning?
I mean, our teachers will be teaching in the classroom online to our students.
Through the CELS program or through the class?
Well, we have a couple programs, not just one program. There's 3 or 4 programs. So they'll be teaching their own class, and then they'll have supplemental materials with it from our own teachers.
Is it going to be a unified platform?
I'm sorry, what else? Yes, unified program. We have one unified platform. Our teachers are being trained in that. We'll give you details. We're also going to have parent classes here in person. I need that. So I can help grandson, kids, and everything. So we're gonna have that for our parents as well. So we've gone through a lot of details. We will miss one or two details. That's why we have to have these meetings. There's something we're gonna miss. And we hear about it so we can find a way to fix it. I saw it again. Yes, ma'am.
So when you refer to the academy, what is that? Is that an established program?
Yes, established program now. We'll be giving out the details to you, launching it here in the next 2 weeks, and practice it, get it out 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how the Chromebooks come in for our kids. But that is an academy. It's just like the Baker Academy, Connections Academy, all those ones you hear about on TV. Ours is here for us, and it fits our needs with our electives. Yes, ma'am.
So GPAs, big question there as far as our juniors and seniors going into college. So the is this by state that like are we going to be able to have regular grading so they can have a regular GPA compared to like California or Washington, or is it by county, by school?
Great question. So the question was, are GPAs still going to be in place here, or is it going to be like Washington and California where there's good pass-fail or proficiency? We have a regular GPA. We have scholarship opportunities in place for career, tech, and for college, and that's important. That's why our academy is going to be different than others, because we're going to attach it to all some of our scholarships, and in addition, allow those electives to be graded. So even in our regular program, we have to go online, and our academy, all will be GPA graded. So our kids will have the opportunity to go to career tech or career tech training or to college. So very important for us. Yes? Oh, sixth grade field, great idea. That's the kind of stuff that she's writing down too. We want this kind of information. We're looking at field trips very creative. It might be a teacher has to take only 8 and go from there. So yes, we got field trips we want to have. Outdoor schools, one of the things we're looking at. Sixth grade field trips, one of the things I put on the list. We're going to make sure we address them. I don't want to miss any of those things. Traditions are very important for us. They might look differently, but we must learn to have them. We're going to put resources to make it happen. Yes? Great question. Pardon? Yes, great question. She asked, how long, or you're pushing, she said, how long do we have before the final decision's made? So, Jack and I were there, Danny was there, we worked yesterday on it. We have a meeting tomorrow, and then we're going to propose it to the governor. We also have the Oregon Health Authority, Dr. Chesney was there. All of them were for this lab yesterday, about 7 of us. And then all the commissioners have been involved. Appreciate that. And our legislators have been involved. So what we're going to do now, we will give a proposal to them. The governor will look at this weekend. By August 11th, she will give us the answer. Once she gives us that answer, then we will be putting it together the evening of August 11th. And we hope it's what we want, what we need. Bring it to the board on the 12th. So the board doesn't have much time. So great question. We are down to the wire. And then we'll make adjustments. And you'll know. We'll let the paper know, we'll let the radio know, you'll get letters. Those parents' letters will come out, you have questions, we'll make adjustments, and we'll go from there. But our goal is, we might have to do school a little later, we just don't know yet. So that's what we're working on. So that's a great question. Yes, sir, ma'am.
Someone first spoke a little bit confusion, and I don't know when we have about
Yeah, online registration, we sent stuff out last week, it's really not correct, and I apologize if you have to miss it. So what we're doing is, our goal will be, by the end of next week, based on what the governor's decision is, try to get something out to everybody. And then we'll have registration the week after. So that's our goal. But again, we're waiting to see. Now, the governor might come back with some caveats, we'll have to make some adjustments. And the school board, I've talked to them, I know they wouldn't mind having an extra board meeting if they have to. Because the school board has to do the plan. The plan has to be in by the 17th of August. We already have a plan in place for the elementary, high school, district plan. We're waiting to see until everything falls into place. And here. Yes? Yeah. No, we'll have that information, but we might need some more information. Because the academy's new. So we want to make sure we give that chance. And that's why I apologize for that information. We probably should not have done that. We should have waited a little longer. I hope everyone understands, it's not our style from our administrative team to wait this long for information. But we did not want to send out more information like we did registration and then pass it along. And that's what we've done. So I got here, yes. Oh, great question. What are we going to do about students needing extra support, special education, 504s, medical issues, and all that? We are accommodating them. Great question. Those will not end. In fact, you're going to see more support because it needs it, especially if you're online. But I have a hard time going there. I'm not here enough. I'm going kicking, dragging my feet.
Okay, so I think what we're trying to verify is that when you guys go on registration's open right now. When you go online, people are like to choose, and you kind of register, you know, that's some choices for your kids. Or you just choose a military student, and then you could be on site, that's what you want, or not a registration for comprehensive business, or it would end up being online. Right? And then if you have already registered and didn't know what your choices were, this is changing all the time. Then the secretaries will call you and make sure that you have exact choices, especially as information develops, you make sure your choice. But we're trying to sort so we can figure out classroom numbers, and then those secretaries will call you guys one time and you know that before, but it's going to be that offers.
So I'll clarify that for everybody in case you couldn't hear. So what we're looking at is, so there is registration out there right now. You do have the option to click on the regular returning student, or you can put online, you know, go online or go in person, you don't know yet. Or you can put on the academy. You said, I want to go to the academy. So that's what we're doing, registration. Did I clarify that? Got it? Okay. I'm over here somewhere. Yes. Yes. Great question. Let's say she asked the question, I'm not sure where I want my son or daughter or my children to go yet. You have time. Relax. Also pick up the phone and call. We can help guide you. We're here to help. So in other words, our goal is to get to yes. Pick up the phone. If you can't get somebody in the district in the building, call Tandy, call me directly, and we'll find it for you. It's important that everyone has that ability to get that information. Because if you have a question, I guarantee you there's 4 or 5 others that have that question. 1, 2, 3. Pardon? It's a waiting game right now, but we're getting closer. We know it's right around the corner. We just don't know how long the block is. Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to encourage everyone to fill out the registration online, and then they can choose that later.
Okay.
But let's just get
So she said she encourages everyone to still fill out registration, and then we can make the shit changes later. Fill out registration now will help us with our numbers. Thank you for that clarification. Here, yes. School start, great question. Right now, school's supposed to start at 9th of September. We're going to work with the board, work with our plan, see what the governor says, we'll go from there. It might start the 14th, a week later. Right now, I'd say the 9th of September. Great question. But I don't have the power to change the start of school. That's a board decision, and the board will make that decision based on information that they will obtain in the next 7 days. No, the packets from the Lakeview Academy are not out yet, but we're working on that. So we're still working on that. We want to make sure we get all the requirements. And also there's some feedback that you have up more services we can offer. Great question. Yes? No cost. No, the academy does not cost anything. Great question. The academy is part of our district service. It's part of us who try to make sure we take care of you. You are the customer. You pay for customer service, and we're going to deliver. That's important. Someone else had a hand. Yes, ma'am. One of the mass requirements for kids. Great question. The mass requirement for kids and everyone in the building is everybody shows up. Kindergarten. The week before, it was 12, age 12. It changed on Tuesday. And last week, so everybody. Now, when you come visit, we have protocols for volunteers. We can't let volunteers come visit like we normally did. All our principals, you're going to get to see them on their GoPros. They're going to show the building how it works. So we're going to send out pictures of how the building looks, what it looks like from a student's perspective. I can't wait to see some of the principals with GoPros, but that's a whole different thing. So, we got directors and everything, so we're making movie stars out of the principals, because they're gonna put the GoPros on and let you see what it looks like. That would be great, so that way what happens here. Also, we have to work with people feeling bad. So, if a cat staff member says, I'm starting to get a cough or anything, normally, hey, you take a little NyQuil, DayQuil, whatever you take, you suck it up and go to work. Those days are gone. Right now, if someone's feeling bad, we want everyone to stay home. So that's that partnership I talked about at the beginning. As a parent, you're going to make sure that, hey, $100 little people are not doing well night for it. We don't want to gamble. It's not worth it for us. It's not worth it for your children. So we're going to make sure that you're there, and we'll make sure we get the information to you so you can still work online when we're in school, when we're having school. So that's important to know. That's going to be hard because teachers love to teach. They want to be here, but we're going to tell them it's bigger. That's the same thing with the masks. I don't wear it for you. I wear it for me. So that's a big change. Yes, ma'am.
We provide masks for those that don't.
Yes, ma'am. Great question. We will provide masks and shields for those who don't have them. We have a whole truckload, so we'll have those in school trips. Buses. Bus drivers, we looked at shields. You probably put a shield here, your glasses on, you're driving, it's a mess. So we have special shields. Chris done a really good job of gearing stuff with Janet and other people in our office. So we really have an administrative team that tag teams. We're looking at the best things. Travis and Quinn and other maintenance people, we have to look at things for our building when we enter. We're also disinfecting. We have a schedule for disinfection constantly. And that's one of the big things about having those two different schools. By doing the two different starts, we're able to disinfect the building every time we get it. So a lot of work going on. Yes, ma'am?
How do you monitor the disinfection and the use of the disinfectant?
How do we monitor disinfection?
Will you have monitors standing
Yes, ma'am.
always?
We have compliance officers, and we're going to have a lot of our staff, and then also there might be some of the student jobs. So we're looking at all kinds of creative ways to have that happen. The biggest thing is teach the routine. So we would have to have us all start out a routine. Come in. Everyone does this, this, and this. It's important. The more protected our cohorts of students are, the better it will be. The state says 100 student cohorts. By us doing the two buses, we're going to have cohorts of 70 in high school, 70, which no one has heard of. But that's the advantage of having a small school district with a great team that finds new ways of doing it. You will also find out, as parents, you'll get feedback, we'll get feedback from students. We'll make adjustments as we go. Because we're going to say, it looked good on paper, but it wasn't a clean traffic flow. So there'll be a lot of adjustments each and every day. Safety is number one for our students, all of our staff. Yes?
Can you explain what you mean and how much of that social distancing will look?
That's a great question. So what that, for older students, great. The hallways, when you walk in the hallways, you have to stay in certain ways, certain patterns, traffic patterns. Won't be able to share lockers, but we'll have a locker. Things like that. Eating, right? We won't have to be able to have the eating places all at the same time. Off campus might be a type of thing where only certain people go off campus certain days. We might not be able to have it all the time. We don't know yet.
And when you go over to your grades.
Yeah, grades. Great question. Grades over.
Yeah, it would definitely be cohort of my grades up through 7th grade. High school, because of mixed classes, sophomores through band and choir. It's a 9-12 class. So not every student's not going to be just in that grade level 4. There's no way to do that. We still have our lunches, which is a very important part of our schooling. But what we want to do is try our best to limit how many cohorts a secondary students in. And how much different content we have. We have to look at schedules and stuff. The biggest thing I'm going to be working with in this building is social distancing. Because with the cohorts, we still have the staff ready. I can't have a 30-person PE class. So you're having to be every day. So the best thing we can do is cohort, small cohorts, with the best expectation of social distancing. So look at how many kids are in classes. That's why I'm waiting on numbers. How many go to the academy, how many stay, how many take a different option. So looking at numbers, how many kids per class, and the pattern, the flow pattern, and then probably like middle school will be 3 minutes behind high school to limit how many kids are involved. My two biggest places for kids throughout the day is passing time and lunch. So I'm going to do separate eating places for lunch. I have 2 spots for lunch. And then the hallways will have a direction. and the safety model. And then, I know I've been told I go the wrong way. No, I wasn't. And then we'll limit passing time between classes, high school, middle school, will be staggered.
Okay, so to repeat some of that for everybody, we get 2 questions. Repeat that. So an example would be maybe middle school to all be grouped together in the different classes, and then what will happen, the high school has mixed classes, so they'll have to make some accommodation. So traffic flow, that's one reason we had to start at 9:30 at the beginning, we looked at 10, but by having an extra 3 minutes afterwards, we can keep the hallways clearer. And then much as we're working on separate places for that. We developed the Safeway model, where we have traffic flow flowing the same way and as least contact as possible, but we meet with the cohort, and that's usually the most important part for the students, that's their friends. Yes?
Yes, what about elementary school, recess and playgrounds, what restrictions?
Yeah, on the elementary school, great plan. Susan and her team has a really good plan in place, so you'll see some of that coming up when the board approves it. Agrees with it, but what's going to happen, you'll see them come in, all the cohorts will be together the same. Even like recess and lunch, all that's choreographed. That's one reason we have a little extended lunch period, because we have to make sure to get our kids through. Some of the menu things might be some of the favorite menu things that take too long to prepare. We have to drop those to make sure we hit the time constraints. So the elementary is very well thought out. You'll see that with the GoPro. Yes, it is.
What's your plan for your staffing gap? So you don't have some teachers yet for some math.
Oh, math, yeah, we still have missing math. That's what we're missing, but they hired a couple, that preliminary hire the board will approve, and we hope next week. So we do have a lot of spots to fill. The maths are big right now. So I'm thinking about kidnapping somebody from that side of the world. But it's illegal, I found out. But we're on it. We're really working. We're hoping to find somebody. If you know someone, let us know. Give us a phone call. We always like recruiting. Question? Yes?
You said the walkers, would share walkers?
Yeah, right now we're trying to do the cohorts. Unless they're in their cohort, we won't be able to share lockers.
Way more kids than all.
Yeah, and some students don't want to use backpacks. Some people go to the academy. So we don't know exactly how that will work. Once we get the numbers, we go from there. And if we do wind up having to share some lockers, then they will be in the same cohort. That's important, though. We can keep it all the same. Great question. Cohorts are small groups of people. So an example, I'm only going to meet today. So my cohort might be this group right here. So this is the only people I deal with during the day. I won't be in that classroom or with that group. That's important. That way, if I'm not feeling well, we know what group we need to check. But we don't want to contaminate the whole group. That's a great question. I should have clarified that earlier. Yes?
So on your online academy, they choose the ambassador or like, so the teacher on video talking to the training.
It's a combination of both. There's live teaching and combination. So we both in play. Just depends on the course. Right, yes. It's a set time student. Great question.
There wasn't very good video.
No.
I mean, I realize that
We heard from one teacher in Arizona secondhand that, and I talked to some people this summer that the teachers are better trained on equipment. So it's a night and day difference. So that's a tough one. I want to defend our teachers. It's like all of a sudden you have to change the entire way of teaching. And some teachers are more technology adapted. And now that we're going to have everybody ready. So great question. Question here, 1, 2, 3. Yes? Sports, great. Last thing right here, sports. Today is a big announcement, so I can't really tell you what's going to happen in sports today. It's supposed to be an announcement. We haven't seen it officially yet. So that means they might still be debating, what they're going to do. So as soon as we find out, we'll make sure we send the word out. Practice right now should go. Practice should go. We're just hoping that they make some adjustments and accommodations. Because extracurriculars is what keeps a lot of kids in school. Music programs, art, and also sports. Yes, ma'am? Okay, the question is about like sports practice for kids out of school. Yeah. Strategies. Yeah, on that, I don't know the answer to that one. I'll put it down to find out. Because the issue is we don't know what the structure is going to be. Our number one focus will be school. Because we have to make sure we disinfect it. So we've got to make sure So if it winds up interfering with the ability to offer school, I would say no. But if we're able to accommodate anything, we'll look at it. But I don't have an answer to that. Yes, ma'am?
What's the plan for sharing information?
Sharing information, that's a good question. Right now, once I get all the information, with parents and the surveys and email is a really great way of doing it. Also, we're just going to try everything. Put it on Facebook, everywhere. We're going to barrage and probably get 4 or 5 different ways. I'd rather over give you information 3 or 4 times. You get the point you don't like it, that's okay. That's very important for us. And also, by the way, if we're not communicating the level you need, let us know. Please let us know. Here and here, yes. Kids involved with cracks? Yeah, that's the best part about what we have now. We've learned from the spring, and we have some things in place, full teams that we call. We're very concerned about health and wellness. A lot of our kids are depressed. I would be. It's tough. You're locked in a place and you can't go out. Trust me, this is a lot better than the urban areas. This is a good place. At least you can do something. But it is something we have to take place. So drop the cracks. If you know of any agencies, if we will miss them, let us know. We have 3 or 4 different options to help support it. And I have another question. Yes?
You mentioned the Chromebooks. Is that just for every kid?
Every
or
kid.
Specific kids?
Yeah, our board has been very gracious. They want us to make sure we take care of every one of our kids. So our board supported them. We have bought Chromebooks for everybody. Once they get here, we're going to issue those out to everyone. The hardest part, though, and that's what we try to explain to Salem, is equity. I can have Chromebook, but if I don't have internet, it's a nice tool. It looks good on my desk. I can't use it. So we're trying to get internet connectivity. And Evan's part of the administrative team, and we're making sure that everything is being done. Connect that. We might have to have them give you a zip drive, come to the district office or some of the buildings and get it. We're looking at some businesses possibly to put it on, to connect as much as our communities can. We also have hotspots, but some of those don't even work in our areas. So we really want to make sure we cover as much as we can. Great question. They're not here yet. When they get here, we'll deliver them out. Yes? School supply list. Right now, until we get this number, but that's going to have to come up pretty quick. But as for the academy and all that, the supplies we take care of. We'll take care of those. Yes, ma'am?
I would just like to clarify, if our students sign up for the online school, you will be having electives, and will they be allowed to participate in sports on campus if they have it?
Well, the way I understand it, I want to make sure anytime it comes to sports, I always defer to my athletic. If they're in the academy, they should be eligible, correct? I want to make sure, but yes. So kids involved with the academy are still eligible for all scholarships, programs, and sports or extracurricular. That's important to know. That's the advantage of having them here. Yes?
You said the academy is already established. Is there somewhere we can go research it on our own?
Yes. We're going to send out the details. There's a couple platforms we still want to sign a contract with, and if I put that out now without having a contract, I don't have any leverage. So we're waiting to see what our leverage looks like. I'm holding on to the academy until we sign a couple contracts with the providers to make sure that all the programs are in place. If I let them know that we use them, then I lose my leverage. So the next 10 to 12 days. Great question. Someone else? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so the question was about after-school care. So one of the things working with Charlie in the hospital and everything, we want to take care of first responders. First responders is number one, and that includes teachers, custodians, workers here, essential workers, hospital workers, essential workers, and our parents. So we're going to have data based on the number of people we have that have 1 or 2 different data. Make sure. We understand we're a small community, that's a selling point. We understand that if we offer daycare, that keeps our economy. And that's important. Parents can work. It also makes our kids happy. Right? Everyone's happy. Mom's happy, everybody's happy. I learned that when I was 12. Someone else? Anyone else? Question? Okay. We're getting near the end. I can't thank you enough. You're going to think of those questions when you're driving or taking the shower or whatever you water in the garden. You think of those. Please, there are no bad questions or thoughts. If you think of some, we want to know about it. We're a very good team. Our team will answer and work to accommodate that. We do have some questions. If you want to write some questions, you don't want to ask in public, come right up, fill them out, and we'll get back to you and put them on Facebook or some of our answers to make sure we can answer those questions for everyone. We will know, if you know about sports, we'll know about those today. If not, later. Yes, ma'am.
Will video of this presentation be available?
What?
A video of this
Will this video presentation be available?
Should be on Facebook.
Should be on Facebook.
Facebook.
Yeah, it's on Facebook Live right now, and Lake County School District Facebook page, so you should be able to go to that Facebook page and click on it and see it, so it should be archived on that page.
Okay, so the archive, it's on Facebook Live for our district, so get on there if you want to see it again or, check it. Yes, ma'am.
Will after school parent off?
No, unless it's after hours. Right now, we can't promise it after hours, we don't know what the money's gonna get, how many, what the, our plan is to go to 4:30. Okay? It's like a regular school. We want to accommodate, remember our goal is to get the yes. Here and here, yes.
That's not on there. They have the remote.
Right. Okay, the question was, let's say they're on the academy and they want to do well. The two principals are a team, so they'll work together. So our goal is to get together. I don't want to promise anything I can't deliver, but once we get there, that's something I want to consider. Yes, ma'am. Okay, the question was about school age and daycare. The problem is we can't go below that magic 5 right now. We can't accommodate that. Because the state regulations are too high for the school district. And liability, great question. It's only for school age kids. And by the way, the protocols for daycare are huge. Temperature every hour, all kinds of stuff like that. And that's why that staff has to be trained special. Okay. I bargained for life for a penny. Only to be dismayed that whatever I would have bargained of life, life would have paid. What that means is simple. We are bargaining for the future of our kids. It's the hardest, most difficult battle we've had in a long time. We cannot do this alone. We need you, parents, as our partners, like never before. Where do you want to be? No other place than here. I want to be a mom. Thank you.